Hi everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk with Tiff. I'm Tiffanie, and I want to welcome you back for yet again another episode. Please like and subscribe to my videos as I appreciate all of your support. So let's jump in. For today's episode, I really want to get into experience and how God gives us all our very own experience. And if you don't pay attention, you might miss it. But in order to understand experience, we really need to understand the concept behind the mind and how it craves and wants and looks for tangibility. And it's going to do it through people, places, and things. And you've maybe noticed it before, but I'll help you. Let me guide you through this one. So the mind will always look to make sense of something that it can see. That is concrete. It's evidence. It will go, whether it can take the body somewhere, whether it has a place to go, it has, things in front of them, a person that is tangible. If it can go with something that it sees, it makes sense to the mind. It becomes real to the mind. It becomes proof to the mind. So you have to remember the tangibility factor. And then in later episodes, I will probably dive in a little bit deeper, but just to give you a little bit of a foundation of where we're going. Because we can't really understand our experience that God wants to give us unless we understand and honor that we have a mind and it's looking for something tangible in order to make sense of this world and this life. Okay, well, who is God? God is our creator. And something that kind of baffles me and shocks me really is that we have come so far, in life, meaning as God's creation, we've made it so far. And if you talk about God or, whatever your faith is, I don't know. For some people, it's an easy subject, right? And for others, it can be very uncomfortable. And for others, it can be even what we know as personal. And I've noticed in this world, a lot of what is talked about when it comes to God is personal. So if you know God, it's personal. If you have a relationship with God, yes, it is personal. However, we must honor and understand from within that God is our creator. And how does that relate to our human function? And so here we are as his creation. And when you break that down, well, what is his human creation? Like, what comes out of us? All kinds, our personality and the way we function, our behavior, the entire human operation. And so this is where I get in shock value, because we've made it this far as his creation, and yet is our relationship with God personal and to our heart? Yes, it is. However, speaking openly about God as creator of mankind, I do believe it is necessary, but it's necessary on a very big level. Is it personal? Yes. But we need to talk about and honor the fact that God, we are his creation, he is our creator, and our entire human operation, our function depends upon our creator. And that is what I want to kind of get at as well. So hold these two concepts inside of you right now. We understand that mind has tangibility factor, okay? It's looking to make sense of something, a person, like it wants to find identity, something tangible, make sense of it through people, places, and things. And when you have something you can see that makes sense to the mind, so you have tangibility factor. Now we have God. We are his creation. He is our creator. We have inside of us human operation that is dependent upon our creator, okay? So two concepts. Now, we also have something called interference through worldly approach, okay? And so this may be something new, right? Because I learned about it myself through God, and it was new to me. So let me break it down. Interference through worldly approach, because we have two operating systems. We have spirit with our heart, and we also have a mind. What has access to our mind? The unconscious does. Where is it coming from? The unconscious, it took me a long time to understand this, but just like we are spirits, right? We have a spirit. Well, the mind is spiritual. And that might be a hard one to wrap your head around, but we have to understand that first. The mind and its experience, believe it or not, it is spiritual. What has access to it? The unconscious has access to it, right? Because it does, we must remember, and this I want to get into more probably on later episodes, but just for the sake of today's, keep in mind, the unconscious is a frequency. It is an energy that has access to your mind, and it works to give you solution. And psychology loves to say that it's there to protect you. No, they got it wrong. They got it wrong. And I say that because the unconscious is there to offer you negative solution toward your life, and it appears as yourself, as you. And is it there to offer you protection? It is, but that's incomplete. So maybe they got it half right. It's there to offer you protection, but it is not for you. It is not for the you inside and your best interest of you. No, it is for itself. The unconscious serves the self. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky, because the unconscious will appear as you. It sounds like you, it talks like you believe it's you, and if you have no consciousness, zero consciousness, you will identify with it. And this thing is constantly working in the background of you in your life. Easiest target, your relationships. Pay attention to those. Now, people as humans, we have what is called trauma. It's happening all the time, whether it's big, small, like as humans, that's what is happening on earth, okay? And so through trauma, if you have enough awareness to even understand that, through trauma and through pain, which is inevitable, it's unavoidable, okay? You're gonna have it. Through trauma and through pain, the unconscious works tirelessly around the clock to give you solution of protection, but for itself. And it will pose as you, okay? It will pose as you. You are the target. One of the number one self-coping mechanisms, self-defense coping mechanisms that it will use against you is deception. So it has to deceive you first into believing that whatever it tells you is truth. No. The mind does not know truth. This does, the spirit, okay? Don't be confused. So now going back to interference through worldly approach. Now by default, well, humans are born with mind, okay? That is, we cannot escape that. That's part of God's creation. Now, because we are born with mind, and the unconscious has access to the mind, and it is spiritual, that is called interference. So you have to remember as you navigate this life, and it has access to human mind, the unconscious, that is considered where it can bring in interference, and it's coming in through humans into the world. Okay, there's a lot of interference through worldly approach, but that's one of the ones that I want to touch on today. In later episodes, we'll break it down a little bit more, but we must understand these key concepts, okay? So now that brings me to the topic, which is how God wants to give us all an experience. So in order to do that, here's what I want to encourage you guys. As somebody that creates content, I actually took a break for a while. I needed it. I had to go do some work on myself. it was really important to even my teaching and my learning from God. God is my teacher. To be separated, go deeper in the truth with him, with God, in order to come back to places like this and share and teach and, give away what he gives to me, really. But there's something big on this, you guys, because, I enjoy helping others. It's like, it's a part of me. It's a part of how I'm built. It's in my inner being, it's in my heart. However, something I know that I want to share with you guys as somebody that, I didn't choose this life to teach what I'm teaching and what I'm going to do in the future for God. He chose me. And I listened. I said yes. I got into agreement with him, really. And that's kind of what I want to jump into, though, is that, you will go through this life and you may find teachers, or you may find groups that you're a part of, or you may identify with, and you may have things in common with them, and you'll even pick up books along the way, and you'll love that author maybe, or you'll attend the workshop, or you'll be a part of the group. Or maybe you'll find a therapist even. I'm going to go that far right now. Yes. You may even find a therapist that you really like. I'm not putting any of these things down. I think these things can be great stepping stones along the way. And you may even really fall in love with the work of somebody that you're getting help from. You may really gravitate towards them and kind of hold them dear to your heart as they work with you, whether you know them personally, there's somebody that you see, or, they're kind of a following on a much larger scale. You'll really gravitate towards their message, whatever it is. It's a beautiful experience to have in your life, but I want to remind you guys, don't stop there, because God has an experience special only for you, okay? And one of the things that I've learned along the way, because I myself used to do everything that I'm saying, okay? I was a big follower of certain writers and certain spiritual teachers, and attending workshops and being a part of groups and all the things. I even had therapists, okay? I did. And I thought at different points in my life, this is really working for me. I love what they teach. I love the tools they offer me. I love their message. I love and identify with this group. That's good, but you walk a fine line there, just like I did. And the reason I say that is because we must remember what I taught you right now about mind and tangibility. It's looking to identify. So naturally, the unconscious in the mind, you'll get into these places with either people, places, and things, and it will make sense to you because you can see it with your eyes. It's easy to identify with these different groups and people, and that's great, but don't sell yourself short. And this is what I mean by that. God wants to give you an experience, and if we don't go all the way with him, and I'm not saying give up the things that you love, or that once, have helped you maybe along your path, your growth path, your transformation path, hopefully your change, how you've changed. But what I am saying is that in order to fully embody the experience that God wants to give you, what I have learned is that God actually really requires nothing. He really uses nothing because, number one, he is God. So he doesn't actually really need anything. The only thing that he does ask for is you showing up in the truth, and you bring your heart. That's it. And when I learned to let go of these things, right, that I had found solution in, a life that offered me healing essentially through these different I don't know, outlets, I guess, that at one time served its purpose. That's true. However, when I learned to let go of these things and depend on God and step into my experience with him and embody it, my life completely changed. It elevated to an entirely new level. I'm still going through it. This is the hardest work I've done, by the way. It's the most rewarding and the most beautiful, but it's difficult in the sense that, like, you know, when you do growth work with God, which I firmly believe that spiritual growth, that is the growth that we're all after. Otherwise, if you're just picking things, maybe targeting areas that you have a little bit of, you know, problem in this area, in my relationships, I tend to get hurt feelings. Like, you get all these, maybe these behaviors come out of you, right? And you want to go see the therapist, or you want to go talk to the sponsor even about whatever's coming up for you. Like, those things are good and they can be helpful to a certain extent. But here's the thing, you guys, going back to my point, we are God's creation. So to not go to our creator as his creation to learn, okay, because we are his students, essentially, how we operate, what is our human operation, our function from within. I truly believe that God has the formula. He has it. Do I think that every human operates the same? No, absolutely not. I believe that God has every formula for every individual out there. So if you're after what I'm talking about, and this is full-blown spiritual transformation, reaching and embodying, stepping into the person that he created, because sometimes during different points in our life, we may tap into some personality traits that we love about ourselves and that people love about us. And you'll hear them and you know them. You kind of feel them right in here too, by the way. And those traits, where did they come from? Okay, we're back to God, creator. We are his creation. He put them there. That's where they came from. And so when you embark on this truth journey, because that's really what it is, we're on a truth journey, you guys. We begin to learn about our true self and every quality, every trait that is so freaking beautiful about us, because it mirrors who God is. There is no Tiffanie or you and all the beautifulness about you without even honoring and looking to God, our creator. The only reason I and myself and you were ever thought of is because God, well, he thought us up. And everything that's so beautiful about us inside. And all the things that I struggle with today, you know, I'm honest about that. Heck no, am I doing it all right? Absolutely not. Oh my God, no. But you know what? I'm a work in progress, and God knows about it. He knows. And currently at this stage in my life, you know, I'll be honest, I'm actually having a season. We're in summer. Yes, I am having a season of regression, and it's really difficult right now. I'm in a difficult season with God where I'm actually depending on him like more than ever to get through my days, my hours, the regression that I've gone through. And, you know, but I stand such a good chance to come out the other side. Can I just say that? Because I don't take my focus off of God. Even through the most trying times, the most trying moments, minutes, it's down to minutes right now, in my life, in this season, I do not take my focus off of God. And then I think to myself, okay, I'm going to make it. I'm making it because, first of all, I have chosen to get into agreement with God. Like, God is my creator. I am his creation. And because I have chosen to go directly, there's no interference here, people. And you can have this too. I have chosen to go directly to the one, God, who knows exactly what I need. There is no mistakes here. I have a 0% chance of a mistake happening because I have, number one, given God my life. I surrendered 5 years ago. And thank God I did. And sometimes on my worst days, on my worst days where I feel like I'm going to die, but really I'm not. I know I'm not. I just feel like I'm not going to make it. On those worst, ugliest days, I know deep inside my heart, wait a minute. I gave, and I have to say this sometimes out loud to myself. I say to myself, I gave God my life. I have to say it out loud. Remind myself, I gave him my life. So if I am going through this right now, he knows. He knows. In fact, he's going through it with me. I am not in self-induced regression. I am in God-induced regression. I am here with a purpose. I am here for a reason. And we're doing work together, God and I. And I have a 100% chance of coming out of it because I am doing it with him and because I gave him my life. Period. There's no debate there. I know this in my heart. I know it so well and so strongly that I tell you, you can have this too. And so that's what I want to tell you. It can be very easy to listen to the mind, identify with the mind, attach with what it tells you, what it shows you, what you see through people, places, and things, and you'll miss it. You'll completely miss it. And so you have to remember how important it is out there, okay? Remember that people are people. We must remember that. God is God. People are people. Will God use people? Yes, he will sometimes. However, when it comes to, at least in my experience, when it comes to transformation, like deep transformation and change, deep inner growth, the ugly kind, okay, if you know, God's going to do it himself, period. He doesn't rely on things from this world. He's getting in there. It's happening from deep within, and he's going to do it himself. He's not going to rely on people. He's not going to rely on this world. Okay. And so, that's what I want to share. And I don't want you guys to miss it. And so should our relationships be personal with God? Yes, they should be personal. Keep it right here in your heart. However, we need to honor and we need to remember from within, not right here, from within. Okay, people? We need to remember from within that God is our creator. We are his creation, and our entire human function, the whole operation is dependent upon him. Take that in. Okay. So if you're having a hard time in your life, I'm going to ask you a question then right now. If you're struggling right now in this life, I'm going to ask you something. Where is God in your life? Think about that one. Where is God in your life? With all that's happening, right? Because this world moves fast. Where is he at in your life? In the picture of your life, in your everyday moments, in every single hour, when your head is spinning, when you don't know what to do, when you're crying and no one sees. There are moments where we go through things, and some of us more than others. And we could, most of the time, people, by the way, if you don't know, in this life, you're gonna go through things. Most of the time, all the time, by the way. Most of the time, all the time. However, God will give us some seasons where we get to have maybe that season where it's like, oh my gosh, nothing's happening. Something's off. Like, it's almost weird if something's not going down in our life. That's just not the truth. Life is always in session, but we have to remember that we have God, and our entire human function, I cannot say this like enough, it is dependent upon where he is at in your life. So if you struggle deeply, where is he at? Like, we should be depending on, as deep as our struggle goes, we should be matching it tenfold with God on the other side. Like, it's like that. That's what I've learned. And so keep that in mind as you maybe explore my channel, as I'm going to share things here with you guys. Remember that don't stop here with me. Don't stop at the next person that has the teaching or the message or the therapy or the book or the conference or the group or whatever, the sponsor. Like, don't do it. You will miss your experience with God, and he has one for you that is so divine. He'll blow your mind. So that's what I know, and take it away. Please have it. This is such the truth. I love talking about truth here. So thank you for listening. Please, you guys, like, subscribe, and share the video. If you think you know somebody that it might help, or it gets them going in the right direction, like, I'm happy to share truth here, but I want to remind people that God lives inside of you too. He has your experience waiting. Do not stop with things of this world. Go directly to him, and remember, he requires nothing but your heart. Bring it and the truth, or else you won't get very far. So that's it. Thank you very much. And I'll be back with more. Thanks, guys.